of Hope tier list. So we're doing this tier list, right? The season of Hope tier list. Right after I have this is being done on stream and end up on YouTube. On YouTube, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go over the gods in SS tier, in S tier, and then probably C tier to explain why they are where they are, what makes them that good, or in C tier, which makes them that bad, why you need to prioritize them, why you don't need to prioritize the others. And then I'll leave A+, A, and B there because they're pretty much middle of the pack. If I skip over something or you're like, you're going too fast, or that wasn't as detailed as I'd like, those other videos are to be like very detailed and precise. This, I'm going to cover what I can. Some gods I'll just be quick. Like, there's no point on talking about Achilles. Achilles is still very good. He hasn't gone anywhere. To me, he's one of the better solo laners. He's not a top pick or a priority pick, but he's one of the better solo laners that gets through all the time. And right now, solo laners aren't priority picks or banned most of the time anyway. So that's why Achilles, I usually don't talk too much about. Agni, similar boat as Achilles. Very, very good mid laner. We know Agni pops off once he hits level 5. Items definitely make him even better. Positioning on the map, the way you're supposed to position makes him better. So he's A+. Someone like AMC is really, really, really bad. Not unplayable, but if you're playing AMC, you need to have a team comp that really just lets him play the game. And with Afro being in the game now, that makes it a possibility where you could pick Afro top pick and then build a comp around someone like AMC or somebody else like that, right? Apwash goes up in value to me. You could argue whatever you want, but I think Apwash becomes a true priority pick. I don't think you're ever going to ban Apwash unless somehow healers are getting through, but with the ban system that doesn't happen. But that pretty much just makes it so Apwash is always good. Healers get through every single game, so that makes Apwash that much better. Amaterasu. Amaterasu is a little bit better with the new healing item. When you heal, you get attack speed. Ama procs that, but it doesn't make her insane. I'm going to leave her in A+. I actually kind of, that's a lie. I'm going to put her in A. I think she's a good pick. I don't think she's like a really, really good pick or something you're going to see every game. Honor. I think Honor is not very good right now. We'll see if the build, I don't even think builds will change in a way that promotes playing Honor, because you're going to see a lot of these script builds. You're going to see your Blood Forages. You're going to see your Diamond Arrows or whatever the fucking arrow, Ornate Arrow. I'm going to leave Honor in B tier. I think Honor is kind of weak overall in the current meta. Anubis. I'll put Anubis in A. Anubis's early and mid is slightly better. It's already good. Late game still falls off. You can build a comp around him, but I don't think it's necessary. I think he's good where he is. Ao Kuang. Is Ao Kuang SS? Ao Kuang is probably an SS pick. It's very easy to play. Items for mages are still peaked, and the build's probably better for Quang, because you can fit in Doom Orb and Chronos Pendant. You have pretty much infinite mana from the MP5 and from the Chronos Pendant. You have cooldown, you have percent pen early, you have high power, you have movement speed. So I'm probably going to put Ao Kuang in SS. Aphrodite, SS. If you're arguing this, you don't know how to do the most basic level of kindergarten math. Aphrodite's link gives 20% of her defenses to whoever she's linked with. On top of that, her auras still affect the target. So an Aphrodite who's going Prophetic, going Sovereignty, going Gauntlet of Thebes, going Heart Ward. On top of the link, that carry will be running around with and off of Sentinels too. Will be running around with close to 300 physical and magical protection. Might be a little bit lower depending on the god, but somewhere between like 250 and 300 physical and magical protections when you're linked to a tank Aphrodite. Oh, it's 25%. Aphrodite's link is 25%? I thought wait, wasn't it supposed to be nerfed to 20? Hyra's trolling. Aphrodite is a must ban. Like, no doubt in my mind, a must ban. Apollo, pretty weaker tier. I feel like some of these hunters, maybe not weaker tier, more like A, better than Honor. The global ult still has some advantage on this map. A little bit better at like fighting and actually being in the team fights. Not the best pick. Arachne sees a slight buff with the items changes. With the attack speed gain you get from the items, you can go Silver Branch and cap out your Silver Branch stacks. The start still sucks on Arachne, and Mannequins is still weak on Arachne, so Arachne's gonna stay A tier for me. I'm thinking borderline B, but I'm sure Arachne farms lower end rank games like it's her job. So she's always done. Ares, A tier. Struggles against some matchups, does well into others. It's a good pick that'll complement your team overall, so when we're going off of this, it's a solid pick. Just has some bad matchups and some good matchups. Artemis, trash. No reason to play Artemis. Simple. No mobility, no good team fight, not a good hunter. No. Ardio, I'm putting Ardio probably into B tier. I don't think Ardio fits great into solo where people want to take her. I feel like she's easy to play into for a lot of the top gods in the game. Everyone's building anti-heal now because of what gods are OP. Your Hell, your Afro, your Quang, Naja. All these gods are healing a lot. So anti-heal is automatically purchased. And that has, you know, a bad outcome for Ardio because Ardio is getting anti-healed and they're not building it for her. So we're going to put her in B tier. Athena, solid support, just does her job. She's good engaged, has a good ultimate. Very easy to play. Super beginner god. Which means she should be in this tree. Atlas to me is still one of the better supports. I'd probably put him up in your S tier. He's not getting banned, but he is a priority support to me. If he's through, I'd rather have him in rank than Maui most of the times because most Maui players are not hyper consistent with their mechanics. Atlas, it's fairly easy to be consistent. Wheelix, A+ tier, still a really good pick. Late game still spikes, no issues. Baba Yaga, A+ tier, great mid-mage, stacked very easily. Bacchus is going to be A+ tier, just below Atlas in terms of support. All the changes they've done overall, I feel like were just good for Bacchus. And for ranked, he's even better because people don't kill supports. So you can be overly aggressive on Bacchus and people don't punish you for it. Baka. I'm in a weird spot for Baka. I think Baka jungle and ranked is going to be borderline broken top 3. He farms faster than Mercury now because his 2 has an 8-second cooldown. Your time between a lot of camps is close to that 8-second mark, especially if you eat the first creep you get low and then you auto the other ones. There's potential that Baki gets seen in every single ranking. Don't want to say you have to ban him yet, but at lower end, you're probably going to be banning him. His farming is just nuts. And when jungle got nerfed, you like having somebody who farms even better is that much better for you. It makes up that much more of that difference that you lost. Baron, I throw Baron A tier. I don't think Baron's doing too hot right now in any role specifically. Bastet, I would put A tier. The scaling on her ability is dope, but the lack of CC sucks. Bellona, yes, Bellona gets better with the auto attack healing item. I always forget the name. I know Sekhmet's is cooling. Vital, the Vital amplifier. Makes Bellona a little bit better. How much better? I don't think it's that much. Kabrakan, I throw down here in the A tier. Just falling off a lot. Still one-shots, but instantly dies himself. Kamazots, we see a little bit of a power buff right off of his 1. I think they might have also hit his cooldowns on his 1 or something. Is it 1 or 2? I know they buffed something on him. Kama's a little bit better. I think overall in the Smite meta, Kamazots kind of skates by just under being very good because of his lack of CC. So as long as your team has CC, Kamazots is very strong. Cerberus, better in this meta because of the amount of healing. If they don't have one or two, if they have more than one healer, Cerberus isn't spiking that much. The second they have a set 2 or 3 healers on that team comp, Cerberus spiking, A+ S tier. CERN, I'd say CERN is one of the better hunters still. Gets a little bit of shit, but I like CERN overall for the way the game plays out, for the massive AoE ult in the jungle, for objective shred because it was passive. I like CERN. CERN's going to go A+. Chalk, I think Chalk is dog shit. I don't know why you're playing Chalk. Everybody that plays Chalk goes Bluestone Transcendence. They lose lane because they die at level 1. Then they hit level 5. They try to force a fight or they play off of a gank and they die again. Then they try to build a defensive item. It's too late and they're too far behind. The game's over. Chunga. I'm going to put Chunga in A+. Late game Chunga is busted. Late game Chunga is doing so much damage. As every mage is. But on Chunga, it's unexpected. You have the range massive stun that people are going to have to beat. And the biggest thing is that stun is very easy to land. So you're able to CC supports out who aren't going to have beats. So you can hit a support, hit a carry in the back. It gives that carry the extra long stun. They're going to beads it. That support stun during that whole thing. It buys your team that much extra time to start the fight. I think Chunga is performing pretty well now after the changes, plus her passive buff. Or is it really her passive buff? When she gets an ability, she gets more damage, right? Stacks up to 3 times. I don't know if that's passive or considered the ability, just an ability buff, whatever. Charybdis, I'm going to throw in A tier mainly because of her safety. She's pretty much ungankable by most junglers of the game. Chernobog, I like Chernobog a little bit more than most of these hunters because of his global presence being instant, unlike Apollo. Chiron, I think Chiron's nuts. I don't know if it's S tier nuts. Better than Chernobog nuts. Borderline S tier nuts. Talking about a guy that can be played a mid and ADC. Doesn't rely on crit. Ult can one-shot late game. I think I'm going to put Chiron S. I'm borderline in between these two. I would, you know, if you argue A+, I would take it, whatever. Chronos, I still think Chronos is one of the better gods in the game. I don't lose on Chronos. But with hunters being where they're at, where hunters being the baseline, they're hitting really hard right now. Like considering them being the baseline, they chunk. And I think I'd rather have a hunter than a Chronos in both roles. Like at that point, if you're going to go an auto attack god. I also think Chronos in mid is a little bit weaker, and then Chronos in ADC is weaker than the other ADC. So I'm put Chronos in A+. Hello. Cleo is still very good. S tier. Has Cleo fallen off? I feel like Cleo has fallen off. Cleo does not get banned. And I don't think it's a prio pick. I don't think I'd put Cleo in S tier right now. I think people have learned to play around her and become more aware of her passive and her being in the walls. And she's not quite as good as she was a month ago or even a couple weeks ago. Cthulhu, I don't think Cthulhu is good. I don't care if it's played in the SPL. I don't care what. I don't think Cthulhu is good. I think his teamfight presence is irrelevant, and he dies too fast to everybody, hunters and everyone else, even with full defense build. Cucullin, I think Cucullin's dope because he wins lane pretty much automatically, so I'm going to put him in A+. Solely off of that reason. His teamfight's all the same, but with that lead, you should be able to snowball way more consistently in your matches than with a lot of other solo laners. Cupid, I go A tier for Cupid because of the counter matchup with the cripple, but outside of that, I don't think Cupid's that great. Dodgy, I think, is hard A tier. Even with the ult being able to burn beads, it's so easy for people to follow up or defend those that get pulled that I don't like Dodge's performance currently. I think Danza's working his way up. We might see Danza become hard meta here pretty soon. He's just performing well. Works great, especially with an auto or you go crit build, and I've seen ability build both work all the same, just like Chiron pretty much, but I'd rather have ability Chiron. Discordia is doing all right. She's super safe in the mid lane and just very annoying. You have to be patient with the player, so I'm not going to drop her up to A+. Most people want to play fast-paced and aggressive, and that's not what Discordia does. Or Longshen is trash. Ever since he's been gutted, he's trash. Stop playing him. ESET, I'd say super average as a mid laner. Wouldn't play her anywhere else. Fafnir, super average as a support right now. Not performing well, not winning lane automatically. It's better to pair aggression into that lane than it is a slow mid to late game playing Fafnir. The other thing, though, you could make the argument, the game now has all these anti-snowball mechanics that catch you up. Somebody's 10-0 and you kill them, you're at that instant of killing them, you're higher level and you have more gold. So Fafnir kind of plays better into that meta. We're like, hey guys, just hit 30 minutes and we win. We'll see. Maybe, next one we'll bump him up if he's overperforming. Fenrir, I think he's not doing too great, getting counterplayed by a lot of picks that are top picks right now. Freya, I think Freya was overhyped to begin with. Said that before. I think she's good, but there's so many things that do better than she does. Ganesh, I'd say, is a solid support. I think I'd put Ganesh in A+. I like Ganesh a lot. Into mages especially, that silence becomes that much more valuable. So with a lot of healers being played, Ganesh's value spikes to me a little bit, even though he doesn't have anti-heal. Geb, another Athena style pick, super safe, easy to play support. Gilgamesh, after the nerfs, I'd say Gilgamesh is lower tier. Guan after the buffs. I like Guan. I think Guan should be played in every game. I think he's probably the best team style warrior you can play in the game, especially in solo. His one is now going under the radar. People don't even realize it gives cooldown to his teammates. The new items make it so he has 3-4 heals in a small window of 6 seconds. I think I'm gonna put Guan in S tier. Could be wrong. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks from now, maybe we find out that I'm completely wrong, but I don't think so. I think everything points to him. Like, he should be a prio pick, especially in rank because he's even easier to play. Hachiman's still just base level ADC, super safe overall. Hades I like a lot. I put Hades in A+. Probably the best mage solo that you could play. I don't think Hades is a priority pick. Borderline between these two. Another one I could see arguments going either way and accept it. Hebo I think is still very good. You're still one-shotting. Doomworm's even better. I'm going to put Hebo up here. Remember, this is a ranked tier list. Ranked casuals tier list. Heimdall. Heimdall sucks. Crit Heimdall is dog. I'm putting Heimdall in a B tier because Crit is meta and Crit Heimdall feels like trash. Hell gets a buff, but is Hell really that much better? I don't think so. I think Hell's borderline A tier. Nothing lower. Maybe A+. Maybe A+. The attack speed buff is nice. She has way better clear in mid. I don't think she's necessarily better anywhere else. Maybe in support. Or sorry, in solo. If they find a way to take Hell into solo, where she can build super tanky, buff her teammates, keep her teammates alive free casting, and still dive and be with your dive frontline, then I would see her moving up to A+, but I don't think that's going to become a meta we see. Most solo laners play warriors and don't have the mechanical skill to play out. Hera, extremely safe, super simple mage. Lower tier because she has no mobility. Where she is because she still pumps out a lot of damage. It's very easy to play. Hercules gets a buff. I'm gonna put him up there a little bit higher. Cooldown on his 1 and cooldown on his 2, right? So he's able to spam and do a little more damage. I like him in the jungle. Horus, I think Horus is the best, maybe tied for the best support right now. With Maui being nerfed a little bit, I think I'd put Horus as tied for top support. He's not going to get banned, but with the cooldown reduction to his 3, his ability to get in, be annoying, dash out, and heal that consistently is scary for team fights. Scary for his survivability. And then I think his 1-2 combo is one of the best support ganking combos. So like as a support, you can go into any lane, shred their protections with the 2, CC them during that time so they take damage, knock them up so they take more damage. I'd say Horus is S tier. Ho Yi, anti-crit passive is dope, but still an average god. Hun Bat's beyond average still. Ever since they nerfed his ult that much, he's just fallen off. Ishtar is still probably our best ADC next to Rama. Izanami, just fast clear. That's all she's got. Janice, I think Janice is still weaker god. The builds aren't necessarily favoring Janice exactly because cooldown rush isn't anything you want. You still want Doom Orb, you still want all that other stuff. Plus, other mages are hitting harder than Janice, so why play them? Why not play them over Janice? Jingwei, safe, easy to play hunter. The one-shot crit build, I like it a lot. Like, I really, really like it for ranked. She's already unkillable, and if you're only playing to knock somebody up and auto them and then play safe, how do you compete with that? Someone who can just ult out whatever they want and still one-shot you? I'm putting away an A+ for now. Yorm, I think Yorm is trash. I think he's one of the best gods for you to play if you want to lose. He does not win ranked games. He's not good in any role. Not better than anything else in any role. Yorm sucks. If you're a Yorm main, get fucked. Kali, I'd say Kali's A tier. I don't like the builds for Kali. I don't think they're really making Kali pop or excel. So she's going to move down to A. Khepri, I think he's a solid support. Love his playstyle in the current meta. He's fine with me. King Arthur, I'm going to move down a little bit because of how fast warriors are dying to hunters right now in the late game. Kukulkan, just not consistent enough. Kumba, simple base level support. Kind of like the more setup annoying version of Geb and Athena. It's like Geb and Athena has setup, but Athena is way less annoying than Kumba's setup, and Geb's kind of the same way to me. So I'm going to say Kumba's A tier. Kuzimbo, I think, is trash. Lancelot, I think, is still very good jungle. Just takes so much damage in late game. Loki, I think, is good jungle if you're just trying to kind of carry your own way through and play your own game. Marticarus is the best hunter in the game now. I mentioned Ishtar and Rama. Marticarus is the best hunter in the game. He's been nerfed once. Doesn't matter. Best hunter in the game. It's not even close. Maui is now on the same level as Atlas for me as a support, and Horus as a support. Medusa I'd put down here in B tier because of her lack of true mobility that can be blocked. Mercury is still the best jungler in the game. That has not changed. No doubt in my mind. Mercury is number 1. I think Merlin is one of the better performing mid mages. His damage is just so over the top right now. It's crazy. It's actually the amount of damage that I see him do in games blows my mind at this point. Morgan Le Fay, I think, is also up there. You're not banning these mid mages, but these are two of the best mid mages. They reverted some old nerfs to Morgan Le Fay, and she is nuts. She might be the best mage. Maybe. Not 100% yet, but she might be. Mulan with Sekhmet Scepter is a new scepter that allows cooldown that makes Mulan a little bit better, but not moving her up tiers. Naja, I'd say, is still one of the better junglers in the game. Damage is unmatched. Too much CC, hard to play around. The mobility without having an actual movement ability is just crazy. It's hard to keep up. So I'm going to put Naja on S tier. S tier is flooded right now. There are so many good gods in the game. Neith. I'd say Neith is just base level average. You play for the ult and that's it, which can be something you can't guarantee that you're landing because people can block it if they're playing better, if they're rotating you, whatever it may be. Nem, I'm putting in A+. Great carry god. If you can't play Mercury, you can't play Baka, and you want an auto attack crit god to carry, just carry the match flat out, hard carry. Nemesis would be my go-to, but it's not something you're prioritizing. You can almost always last pick Nem if you wanted to. Nike, I'm going to throw in A tier. Just a safe warrior that doesn't do too much. Nox, I'd say B tier. You need to build a comp that really fits and plays with Nox, whether that's support or mid. I do like hyper late game Nox. Hyper late game. Not like 30 minutes. Like, I'm talking 3k pot Nox. Your ult pretty much one-shots. So at that stage, it's pretty fucking hard to miss your ult and you'll win a team fight, but you have to get there first. Nuwa, I don't like Nuwa. I'm putting Nuwa on B tier. Presence on the map and the items are not helping Nuwa do anything, really, in my opinion. Odin's value spikes in current meta. I'm going to put him in A+. He's obviously S tier if they have healers. If they have immobile healers, Odin spikes. I think Odin is very good right now. Oleron, I'm going to put an A+. He's just slowly drifting off as they nerf the auto attack mages a little bit. He's fallen down a couple ticks. I don't think Osiris is good in the jungle or anywhere else. I don't think he has been. Hopefully, maybe we see a resurgence in the duo lane or in the solo lane because of items and on attack speed and all that stuff, but I doubt it. Pele, A+. You're a full committed assassin. Pele is probably the god that most people complain that I don't say she's good and I don't place her high enough on the tier list. Pele has 0 mobility. And don't tell me her 3 makes her faster. I'm not talking about your movement speed. I'm talking about instant mobility. The only thing she has that is instant, which can be blocked, is her ultimate. Her ultimate is almost always used as a full commit damage tool. Once you do that, you're full committed. You either kill them or they kill you. I don't think being forced into that just to use one of your abilities is a really great way to play with the rest of her kit. Persephone, I think she's just situational because you're playing so heavily around her ult being valuable and getting to a point where she can one-shot. Poseidon, I'd say, is one of the best mage junglers right now besides Hebo. Like Poseidon a lot in mid as well. The lockdown, the movement, the rotation potential, all there. Raw becomes this much better. They added 5% health damage, right? 5% health damage to Raw's ult. So you do a little bit more to tanks and other people, but mainly tanks. I'll probably put Raw in A tier. I don't think Raw beats out the other healing mages. I don't think Raw beats out the other mid mages. Raw is just going to be chill, super average. Raijin, I think I'd put Raijin here for now too. Just long channeled abilities makes it hard to play. He does it hard as hell right now though. So it'd be cool if we see him be played more. Rama matches with Ishtar. It's the only other hunter that I'd say is really good. Martikra's number 1, then Ishtar, Rama number 2. Rat becomes a hair better because they buffed his Acorn 3. Is it enough to make him meta? Probably not. He one-shots, but he also still full commits. He's similar to Pele. Once you're in, and it kind of sucks. Ravana. I think Ravana's busted and going under the radar. So I'm going to put Ravana in S tier. And if you're wondering why, Ravana's 3 heals Ravana, right? Sekhmet's Scepter has power, health, cooldown. Ravana doesn't like Hydras. It's not bad. But on Ravana, you don't want Hydras. You don't really want Transcendence either. It just doesn't feel that great. You usually want Jotuns and Erudite. Jotuns for the early game spam because your cooldowns are a little bit longer. Erudite for the chase off the ultimate. Pair that with Sekhmet's. I would probably go Sekhmet's first because it gives you a ton of HP. And then your cooldown, your 1 and your 3 are on infinite cooldown loops for 6 seconds because of Sekhmet's passive, which gives you even more cooldown off your abilities. I think Ravana might be back to like number 1 noob friendly jungler as long as you're building correctly and definitely prioritized for ranked. I just feel like he's nuts. He has a handful of bad matchups in the game. I don't mean jungler on jungler. I just mean overall. And most of the gods being played, Ravana plays well into. Ravana counters Morgan Le Fay. Ravana plays well into Agni, which is just rare. Most assassins suck in Agni. And those are 2 of the most annoying mages in the world right now. Scylla skates under the radar as one of the better mages. So much damage. Just needs to get the late game, which are usually guaranteed in current meta. Serket, falling down a bit. She's too easy to kill. Set, I'd say, is A+. Anti-heal still counters him. That's the big issue I have. And then his lack of CC. Shiva, easiest to play solo laner in the world. So he's solid. Scotty sucks. Bro, Scotty's dog. I can't. Scotty has a dog. Here, let's do this. Scotty's going to C tier. Erosion counters Rav. No, because you're saying he needs his shield. Ravana's shield is so irrelevant to his kit. Ravana has an ultimate, so you can avoid any ability you want. Ravana has a 2, so you can avoid any ability you want. Ravana has a slow and a root, so you can kite around and avoid other abilities while doing damage. If you're relying on your shield on Ravana, I feel like you're trolling. Scotty sucks. Still lack of mobility. Terrible team fight. The dog sucks the life out of trying to kill creeps as a, if you're a hunter trying to go kill purple. Trash. Sobek, average. Anti-heal is going to help him a little bit. That's about it. Soul, still performing really well. Going to knock her down a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we move her back up to S at some point. Sun Wukong, trash. I think Sun Wukong is the most... I guess he's overrated. Ask any idiot and you say, what do I play in the solo lane as a new player? They're going to say Wukong. It's the first thing out of their mouth. Wukong sucks. His team fight is not good. His laning phase is no better than anyone else like it used to be. And he doesn't bring much to the table. I hate Wukong. I think Wukong is B tier. Surtur. I think Surtur is A tier. Boy, was I wrong about him because his late game, he becomes irrelevant. He dies so fast and just becomes irrelevant to me. I fully believe if you're playing a dive comp with Surtur and you're full tank, he's hyper valuable in that comp and probably A+ or S tier, but only in a full dive comp. Susano, I'd say, is still way up there for jungling, pretty much just pumping out insane amounts of damage that can't be matched. Sylvanas' value has gone up. Would I put him S tier? Probably. I probably would put him S tier. His ultimate is one of the better teamfight ultimates from support role. People aren't going to beat Sylvanas a lot out of the support role. He guarantees lane control, which guarantees you one side of the map is under controlled. He's got healing, which has some value now. His lane clear is unmatched. Like, you're going to win lane with Sylvanas. You pretty much won lane anyway with Sylvanas. Now you extra win lane. I'll probably put him here. Terra got a slight buff with the mitigation buff to her ult, so I'm going to put her in A+. I think she's going to perform a little bit better, but it's just that much. Thanatos, similar boat to Ravana. Except for Thanatos likes Hydras. So Thanatos can go into whatever starter he wants. Go into Jotuns, go into Sekhmets, go into Hydras. Sekhmets is going to make your 1 pretty much have no cooldown. You're going to 1, it's going to hit somebody. You're going to auto. You're going to 3, you're going to auto. That 1 is going to proc Sekhmets, by the way. So it's 1 auto, 3 auto. Or, 2 auto, 1 auto, 3 auto. Another auto, your 1's back up. Because of the cooldown, the way it's working right now. It's pretty ridiculous. So I like Thanatos right now in S tier. Morgan, she's doing all right. Lane clear just isn't as valuable now, so she isn't spiking like she used to. I think Thor is one of the better assassins in the game. There are a lot of matchups he fails into, and I like his lane game better than it used to be, but I wouldn't quite put him in S tier. I think he's A+. Thoth, I'd say Thoth is A tier. Easy to dive. Thoth gets dove by everybody right now, and that's the one reason that Thoth isn't higher rated. Tiamat, I think Tiamat might be one of the better mages that I haven't been valuing high enough. Really like Tiamat in current meta. Hits way harder than you expect, and then is way harder to kill than she should be. Tsukiyomi, I'll probably put Tsukiyomi in A tier. Same reason as always. Once he's full committed, he's in there, and his full commit doesn't kill mages and hunters because they have Aegis. And then he insta dies as soon as he lands in front of them. Tier, I'd say tier has fallen off a bit. They nerfed. What did they nerf on tier? Oh, they nerfed the healing on his 2, right? So tier is struggling because he can't just full heal off his 2 whenever he wants. Ul, still a spammable hunter. Does great. But mana. I'd say Vamana's value goes up because they removed healing a long time ago from Vamana's ult. So he gets a shield instead. Which means anti-heal isn't hard countering him. But I feel like he still struggles with the same issues of just being killed really fast if you build damage. Dies pretty much instantly. Hunters right now at the full build mark are hitting for 1,000. So a Hunter's got a 3-shot of a mana in ult still, and you're a big target, and you're not going to outkill that Hunter. So I'm between A and A+. If you argued A, I'd be with you. Vulcan, too hard to play, not safe enough. No CC immunity, low mobility, A tier. Shibalake, the buffs just weren't enough for him. Bring back his stun to his ult and see if that makes any difference at this point. Xing 10, I like Xing 10, but mainly just because he's a super safe support and kind of annoying. Yamoja, average player, Yamoja I'd put in S tier. Or sorry, average player I'd put Yamoja in A tier. High tier Yamoja individual player I'd put in S tier. So I'm going to put Yamoja in A+. Ymir, still not safe enough or good enough to play and support consistently, and lane pressure he brings isn't as much as most of these other ones that do more of the team fights. Yu Wong, probably still the best mage to me. Yeah, probably still the best overall mage to me, but I like Merlin, Morgan Le Fay. They're just not as safe as Yu Wong. So he's up there. I feel like Tiamat rivals Yulong's safeness, but not quite. Not quite the same. Zeus, super hard to play because he's not safe enough. Needs a comp mostly built around him, or he just needs to play a very, very cautious way that makes him difficult to get his kit off consistently. Jean Kui, similar boat. Once you're full committed, you're committed, so you have to be very hesitant and smart about how you're using your abilities. That's where I put. I don't have other stuff into SS because for me, SS is like must ban, like the top of the bans and picks. There are other gods you're going to see banned a lot. You're going to see Naja banned a lot. You're going to see Hebo banned a lot still. You're going to see healers like Guan and even Hell banned a lot right now. Wouldn't surprise me if you start seeing Baka get banned a lot right now. So this is probably where I would put my tier list. Still mostly concentrated into A and A+, the way it should be. S tier is bigger than, it's been a long time, but the meta is crazy. SS, I have a little bit smaller, but I think these are hyper accurate. I don't think there's any arguing these three. Go crit on Baka. I would just go auto attack build. You can go crit. 100% works, but I think auto attack build's more consistent. Builds have already started being updated. Should be done in the next couple days. Does Gilga need a buff? No. Bro, Gilga was meta for long enough, and he's too simple. He shouldn't be that good. When your kit is nearly impossible to mess up, it shouldn't be as strong as somebody whose kit is harder to mess up. Bro, usually you guys argue and yell, even in here, more on YouTube, but even in here, you guys are like, I don't know about that, Weekend, you're crazy. You guys aren't saying that this time. So either this patch is that crazy, or I got some shit right in this tier list. I'm interested. I'll be very interested to see YouTube. It looks whack to you? What part of it? Dan's at a S tier? I can see Danza moving up, but I need to see more performance. Goobis real low? But all they did to Anubis was make it so he could move during his one. Does his moving during his one change people CCing him to death? People killing him because he's slower? He's still slower. The biggest issue is late game Anubis can't ult because the second you ult, you get instantly killed by the other mage. Yeah, Wukong sucks. I have thought Wukong has sucked for a long time. He's not you thought Anubis' one was immune to CC? I think he's knockup immune, right? Is he still knockup immune? He's not CC immune. You can stun him for sure. Or taunt him or something else. Why they remove the healing reduction in Chungos 3? I don't know. Mindy said the same thing. I don't know. Do I know a good Afro support build? I would go fucking prophetic into, and this is your choice. I don't know which is gonna be more consistent for you in ranked, but I'd either go Gauntlet after that or I'd go Rod of Ass Claps. And then I'd flip-flop the two, depending on if you thought you could still get your stacks on the what's it called? The gauntlets. And then I would go Sov, and then I would go either a greedy tank item or I would go a Heart Ward or something else to grab more defenses for my teammate. My goal is Aphrodite. I would play Afro support, and my goal would be to link to my best player and make sure that person doesn't fucking die. And if they're linked to me, it should be impossible for them to die. I would not build Lotus. I don't think it's necessary. Any gods I think need a buff specifically. AMC metas suck. I think On Her needs a buff. I think Ardia metas suck. I think Cthulhu's just a stupid ass god and shouldn't be very good. Gilgamesh, same boat. Way too simple to be good. Heimdall, I think, needs some kind of a buff. So 2 hunters. Even though I think hunters are strong right now, I just think these hunters are weak because of crit meta. I don't think Medusa needs a buff. She's always just weaker because of movement. Nox does not need a buff. Nuwa does not need a buff. Osiris, I can see Osiris being better and me being wrong with this because of how much healing's in the game, but I don't think at a base level people are going to play Osiris. Persephone, most people either hate Persephone or wish Persephone would be reverted back to her original form. I'd rather her deleted from the game. And then Wukong, I've never really liked having Wukong in the game, so I'm okay with him being where he is. And then once you get into C tier, you're talking about the 2 immobile hunters being ass, same as always. Erlong was nerfed into the ground, he's ass. Chalk has always been ass. Yorm has been ass for like 3 years. And I can see Kazimbo, they can buff Kazimbo. They just need to make sure they don't buff Kazimbo's 2. If they're gonna buff Kazimbo, they either buff him so he's a solo laner, which I would be way more happy with than a support. And that would mean they would have to buff his 3, probably his 3. Buff his 3 back to kind of where it was, find a balance, and let him be a solo laner. Why isn't Izzy higher? Her mobility is one of the worst mobilities. It's a delayed dash where you know exactly where she goes, and most, mid to late game team fights, you're not going to stay in that invis. There's going to be Erendites, there's going to be, damage around you, there's going to be dots on you, whatever. And then outside of that, she's kind of a sitting duck. She doesn't have hard CC. She's got an ult that's fairly easy to dodge if you're talking about just like she's free ulting. She's never been a really high rated pick. Builds don't make her that much better. She's mostly pub stomp and lane control. Can you explain why Herc is lower than Guan, even though they buffed Herc's 1 and 2? They also buffed Guan. You know that, right? If you know they buffed Herc and you're going to compare to Herc to Guan, then you should know what Guan's buffs were. Hercules is a single target, very frustrating warrior that can be anti-healed to death and CC to death. And late game, warriors are getting killed by mages and hunters. 30-minute mark, Hercules is not walking at a hunter and out-trading them. Flip side, Guan Yu, his 1 gives cooldown to his teammates now. They added an item that makes him able to heal multiple times in a 6-second window. So if you're a Guan Yu with your teammates, you could give 3 seconds off of cooldowns for any teammate you're standing on top of. Late game, that's full CDR teammates. Their abilities are up. Boom, boom, boom. They get 3 abilities off because you exist. If they find a way to play him consistent, Guan's laning phase is never bad. So if they find a way to consistently get him into those team fights, which, every solo laner should be able to do, in my opinion, with a tankier build, with the items in the game, you're not going to kill him. He's going to be very frustrating. He's got a CC immune ult. Guan Yu just doing better. I would never play Guan in the jungle. Not in a real game. Like for fun, I would, but not in a real game. You go tank Guan solo all day. Make Osiris 1 cripple? What the fuck? What, for like half a second? Does Rod of Asclepius proc on Souls 1? I don't know, but you wouldn't build it for that. No matter what. That healing is so irrelevant. It's just passive, it's extra. Merlin and his placement. You're still one of the easiest to dive mages. Once you've thrown your abilities out, you're a sitting duck to any warrior or assassin who wants to kill you. You don't have hard CC, you rely on knockups, so knock-immune gods just shred through your stance change. My biggest problem with Merlin is if you are on a team that is being dove, you struggle. If you are on a team that is stalemated or you are diving, you excel. And you can't usually control that as Merlin because if you have bad frontline, you're being dove. Where like Yu Wong, super safe CC immune ult, self-peel, and movement that takes you off the map. Similar to Merlin, though, you got Morgan Le Fay. She has self-peel, but she doesn't have a lot of movement, and she can be dove very easily. And there are gods, the same gods that counter Merlin usually counter Morgan Le Fay. Your Dodgy, your Ravana, things that can't be knocked up. How would I build Ravana? Probably I or Bluestone, but probably I. I'm not a big fan of Bluestone right now. I, Sekhmets, Jotuns, Erendite, Crusher, Heartseeker, or Brawler's Heartseeker every game. You should have anti-heal in 99% of your matches unless all the healers are being banned. If people aren't playing healing, then you don't got to worry about it, but you should have healers in most of your games.